All right, keeping the pace, we're going to move right into our next lightning talk on the topic demystifying agentic AI. Please welcome our speaker, Rekha Joshi, distinguished architect, Walmart Global Tech.
Everybody able to hear me clearly? Hey, I hope you had a great, wonderful day full of learning and entertaining. Let me continue that. I'm Rekha Joshi. I'm a distinguished architect at Walmart. I'll be speaking about demystifying agentic AI. It's going to be a great topic. So, what is the future, right? Because everybody here is building the future. So, you are naturally thinking, what is the future? Yesterday, you were told the future is a mobile, you were given a handset, but then you guys generated so much of data that the future became cloud. Cloud to store, cloud to stream, the data transformation, the data pipelines. So, the future keeps on changing. It is not a static thing. Then the future became a network effect that now we have all this data, we have all this way to do a very seamless processing. How can we get to a network effect and then to a personalized thing, right? Whether it is a personalized news feed for you, a personalized search system for you, or everything became personalized, right? Or TV watching experience, it is a personalized thing. But now it is the future is autonomous, which means that future is, as you can see in the picture, and I'll give the credit to Grok AI. I have built up many of the pictures by Grok AI. So here you can see a self-driving car, a lot of robots happening here, right? So essentially, the autonomy will go away from your hands to something that can help you, and in the sense that it can take the cognitive overload from your system, and it can help make your life so easy that you can just concentrate on flying the kite. So how do we go from here, right? Now I just say the future is autonomous, it's a decade of agents, and everybody gets excited and goes back home and starts building agents, but we need to understand to the core of agents, right? What is agentic AI? So at the heart of agent, it's still an LLM. Again, a picture taken by Grok AI. So if your parents were anything like my parents, they asked you to read a lot of books, right? Read up, get more intelligent, become super intelligent. So this is really a very core philosophy, and even Larry Page and Sergey Brin were onto the same thing, right? When they said that we'll build a search index which will index the whole of knowledge to get to the knowledge fast. People really recognize that the knowledge is there, the most important thing. When Elon Musk says that I want to hit to the collective consciousness, what he is trying to say is I want to get the sum total of all the knowledge. So everybody recognizes that the knowledge is the most important thing. And what would happen if I just train the machine to read everything, everything that is there, and then try to understand and have a worldview? That's exactly what LLM is, right? It's a large language model, and we'll go into the large reasoning model as well. But at the core of heart of an agent, if you want to understand, it's an LLM. Um, More on that, but if you have attended my last year's Git session, we also spoke about Gen AI in retail at Walmart, right? So we did the whole process where we were developing with different kind of models, whether it is GPT, O model, or Gemini, Mistral, Cloud, different variants of the model, and we do have our own element LLM gateway. So the LLMs or the models will get refined, tuned, and what we want to get in a very specific Walmart approved level, right? There's a lot of training, there's a lot of SFT, right? Fine tuning that happens that on your own custom domain data. This is really a crucial thing where you refine the model not to waver, to answer questions more related to Walmart and near to that, right? There's uh, a lot of stuff happens here in the inference part also, right? We invested a lot of time on the cost, making it effective, batch inferencing, doing VLLM, and some of you are nodding heads because you know the whole rigmarole, right? To understand, to make it cost effective, both from latency, performance, all those aspects. So here what you see is just one slice to give you flavor, how Gen AI at retail at Walmart helped you to understand that a simple give me toys for boys, give me toys for kids, right? It is not a specific product that you're asking. It's a very vague thing, but you can still generate the answer with Gen AI and give you the right diverse set of products, whether it is puzzles, whether it is any kind of thing which will interest a kid, right? And help them grow. You can also have smart summaries all generated by GenAI. So this was very static thing, however, right? And it really divulged into a lot of customer delight and a lot of newness came into the picture. Not only newness, there was a customer revenue as well. But this is a whole thing that happens with LLM and GenAI stuff. Now, you do recognize that LLM, nothing is static. Like I said, the future is not staying static, and you are building the future. So you are running the race where the future is constantly changing. So right now, we do understand, and it is really at a remarkable pace, that the models have been able to do a reasoning. When you are able to say that model can reason, it is really a game changer. Because if you see, the whole of AI can be summed as an ode to human intelligence. We are just saying that, oh, human is so intelligent and the AI is trying to catch up, right? And somehow it is not able to. If you read all the papers, and I will encourage you all to go into the whole journey of AI itself, right? From the backpropagation paper from Jeff Hinton to the attention is all you need. Everybody here should have read it. So we talked about the deep neural networks, the transformer architecture, which was a really game changer thing, right? Where the whole thing started where we could think about having the feed-forward networks and get the system reason. But where you also, some of the tasks happen on the prompt engineering, you would have seen that the prompt, when you give, the system can hallucinate. It can diverge. It can go somewhere else, right? But when you ask it to explain, that show me your rough notes, right? Essentially, it started giving you really good answer. So when you asked it to show the rough notes, it's actually explaining its chain of thought, of tree of thought, or graph of thought, right? It is able to get to the right answer. Complex problems. And even if you are not really astounded by the miracle this is, right? You might have seen the recent triumph in AI is really astounding. It has won the gold medal in the humanities last exam in the math. Right now, with the same day, Gemini, ChatGPT, both were competing and they were getting the gold. So on an average, model is able to store a really high score on any of the exams, right? Even PhDs, right? Where the gap really is it really able to keep up with our original thought? Keeping that aside, right? AI is really triumphing, right? Everywhere, every area that you see, AI is really getting better than humans most of the time. But now we are coming to the core part of it, right? If you ask what is an agent, even by the end of this day, when most of you have attended, let's say, 30 or 35 odd sessions, then you must have known LLM, agent by heart by now. This was asked on Twitter, right? So I'm gathering this inputs from Twitter. Everybody has a different definition. But the main part of it is, if you ask a very simple thing, is they say that it is not a workflow, definitely. That is right. Workflow is, you have been grown up with software engineering and you have done workflow a lot of times, right? Where it is more static, but you can control a long-running process as well. It is a long-running process, but you cannot have a stated definition. The agent will take its own course of action, but it is using LLM, it has some memory, it has some planning. It will take action on your behalf. It is making decisions on your behalf. It has a certain kind of autonomy. So now, control freeze on this room, right? They'll get really freaked out. Somebody else is trying to take decisions on your behalf, right? But that's essentially that it is, right? You're delegating the authority. And there's a lot of other definitions you will come across, some that feel more closer to you. But the most important part is, now you can sum up all the agent is that there are some cognitive modules, right? When I was saying that agent will take the cognitive overload from your systems, now treat it as some cognitive modules and there's a control flow. So let's think about what is an agent, right? So when I said there's a control flow and there's a lot of cognitive elements, think about how you perceive your life, right? Any decision you're making, you're actually taking inputs from your environment and you are taking inputs and then making a decision or making a plan, right? You're thinking that now I should either take this path or that path and reach my outcome. So that's exactly in a very summarized way. This is a very summarized way, but this is exactly what it is. It is a context engineering. Why we say now I'm introducing a new term, context engineering, because prompt engineering was the term of yesterday. It was more static. It is more stateless, but context engineering is more stateful because now I have to make a decision. You cannot make a decision thinking about some instruction that is given, right? You will have to be really dynamic. You will have to have context engineering across the different cognitive modules. So take into consideration that you really want to touch upon that Walmart is the longest running company in the world, right? But really largest retailer, billions of customers across the world, billions of annual revenue. But we are people-led and tech-powered. So we are daily embracing the tech. Like I said, we did the GenAI even when it was hot off the press, right? Really no guidance. We are learning, we are doing and iterating on that. But that was still static. If you are saying it is more controlled. Now we want to embrace agent also. And as you have heard Suresh Kumar, we are embracing tech that can empower all the associates, customers, suppliers everywhere. So if you, at brief, we have 4 super agents from developer to our customers, and they have been on production level as well. If you see the Sparky, now that's a next generation of our GenAI tool. We have multiple forecast agents as well. So none of our developers are staying static. We are reviewing 10 agents every day. Many cases, right? You know the coding agent, reviewing agent. So people start visualizing that I have a coding agent, I have a reviewing agent, and they are doing the work that I'm supposed to do, and I'm minding their business, right? They're doing it correctly. And it grows, right, from hackathons and stuff like that. Whether it is an operation issue that you're trying to solve, you can have an agent. Now, issue is you will have to realize that there's an autonomy that you're trying to control. That is a game changer. We also have Agent Studio because all the people are doing the agent work. It has to be more transparent and reusable. Right, so that is brief about that. Now, when I said agent, right, and there's a lot of memory that is there, context engineering happening, what happens really is we have used LangChain, we have used Google ADK, OpenAI SDK. You will find variants in their API, how they collect the response, etc. But basic stuff remains the same, right? And you get the responses, you're parsing the responses, making the decision based on that. You have an execution, you have a decision engine. Basically, what happens here is now you're actually gathering the context. Any previous response, you are having that as a context and you're building upon that. Not a bad thing at all, right, for starter. Now you're thinking how you will evaluate human intelligence. It's a good starting point. But if you think you have a lot of memory, you have a lot of context engineering, but you have a lot of how you're retaining, right? And that's the real deal. Because this is really a pain point. If you have too much of it, context, then you can actually not make the right decision. So you have to make a judgment call within the agent, what you have to summarize, what you have to push out to the memory and take it back when needed, and what you have to really clear out and delete, right? This is again a simulation of how human does, but human is really large scale at that. Like something that happened to you when you were 1 year old, you might still retain and you will recollect it back on demand. So this is again a way that we are trying to emulate human intelligence, get there. Now shift the autonomy part of human being to somebody else who can do it for us, enable a lot of things to happen, and you can fly the kite, right? But now agentic AI is a term not just for agents, now multiple agents. Again, it is a new upcoming thing. You have to be a little bit cautious how you're using it. But in this scenario, now it is an ecosystem of different agents, and now they're interacting, and a lot of things can come into play right now, right? So let's discuss about the core agentic AI. Nothing of this has to be not thought of deeply, right? Because the context management, the memory management, the scope autonomy, right? When I'm saying this, because they are control freeze, but also it is not the right thing to give all the power to agents, at least in the initial stage, because like Andrej Tripathi said, it is a decade of agents, right? So play it as a marathon, not as a sprint. You can test and try how much of autonomy you will delegate. So that's the scope autonomy. You will have models, and they will do the inferences, different kind of SDK, like I mentioned, LangChain, and there will be more coming up, right, which will be more flavorful for your language and stuff. You will have MCP as well. Most of you have had sessions with MCP. So you have different models and your custom fine-tuned models. What is more important is a foundational layer. And this never goes away, right? Because even when you're developing a platform, you're thinking of the foundational models. Now, agents will now go ahead in behalf of you, assessing some data somewhere else, making changes if needed, or suggesting something to the customer. These are all decisions that are representative of you. So the ownership finally falls on you. So there has to be a lot of guarded data access, lot of evaluations that are built in, lot of governance, security that comes into play, right? Nothing goes away, right? So those are now, people were saying yesterday that AI comes in, my job goes away. It is in fact becoming more and more nuanced. You will need it in every layer, whether it is responsible AI in ethics or how the whole testing will happen, right? The autonomy is given away, where it made the change, how it has logging everything, right? This is the main thing. Now, if you consider the right panel, usability, right? If it is really usable, because finally, if it is agentic thing that you're building, but it is not usable, it does not make any sense. Guardrails, evaluation, and analytics also play an important role. Let me go into the main important thing, right? We are time bound. So one thing very caveat is, if you have a hammer, everything is a nail to you, right? So agent is a flavor of the decade. Nothing that you can ignore. You should not ignore. You should try it out, test it out, but answer these questions faithfully first. Is it really a significant, complex, coherent, and doable task, right? Something that can be delegated. It doesn't require like really a human intelligence or human nuances or tribal knowledge that human has. It cannot, if a human is needed, then you need a human for that, right? But something like coding agent, reviewing agent, we have had success at Walmart for this as well, and many layers, right? From design to PRD, from PRD to development code, different Figma to this. There's a lot of experiences that we have, and with the operations agent, we had different sort of on-call agents were really helpful, right? Not to have a 2 a.m. call, but try to figure out these questions. Also the budget, right? And now the totals and the budget implications are important, and then you go ahead and build the effective agents. There are guardrails that you have to think about, and there are different type of evaluations, right? Whether it's performance, responsible. I'm time bound, but I really want you to take away with one important thing is, AI is a race that everyone has to participate. And why especially the Indian ecosystem? Because really the Indian ecosystem is the most powerful ecosystem. Most people do not recognize that, but it is the biggest economy. Has the biggest consumer market. You have a lot of demand, you have a lot of supply. Like I said in the initial, I gave a mobile phone. When it hit India, you started creating a lot of data. Now we had to have cloud, right? So India is the biggest market. You also have largest set of both opinions, which is very important, right? To really test spread the technology. And you have a huge diversity. You won't see it anywhere else, right? Whether it is languages, your lifestyle, in everything you have opinion. But the most important thing is, if self-driving car is really the future, right? Unless it is there in India, we wouldn't say it is done. It is a true test bed. Can you drive a self-driving car in India? So that's my time. But thank you so much for listening. And if you, this is a rating. If you think that it would have been valuable for you to stay at TESPO, you have to rate accordingly. Thank you so much.
Please give her a big round of applause. We'd like to thank Rekha Joshi once again for that lightning talk on demystifying agentic AI. I'd like to request you to please accept a small token of our appreciation. Give her a big round of applause once again. Thank you.